This high school season, it's time to choose your gaming destiny. Whether it's gaming icons clashing in the ultimate showdown in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, hitting the road and outpacing the competition in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or slinging ink with your friends in colorful battles in Splatoon 3. Bring competitive Nintendo gaming to your high school through Play Versus. Learn more about the upcoming season by visiting playvs.com.
It is championship time for the Florida Association of School Administrators Finals for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Joining me again, Hail Monkey Man, my name is Bearlight, and we're about to head to a best of 5 sets of best of 3s. Not confusing at all between these two teams. What it means at the surface here, Hail Monkey Man, is there's a lot of talented Smash players for a lot of rounds, and we're going to see them play against some of the best here in the state. It's going to be exciting to watch.
It's going to be really fun. And of course, this was a big bracket. Super Smash and the fighting game community, FGC, really draws out a ton of talent. And of course, that's not at all indifferent to what is happening in the high school scene, and of course, into this play versus final. And this is going to be really cool because the way it's been sussed out, by the way, as an aside from our 2 mains that'll be coming through, Freedom High School has a really good program because they were in the top 2 with 2 separate squads. Both of them got squashed, and both of them interacted with our 2 teams that we're going to be seeing from Lake Nona High School with their Navy Smash squad and Monsignor Adam Edward Pace High School, which I only just learned to pronounce about 30 seconds ago, that has their Super Spartan Smash squad. And an interesting way about how they've been interacting across this competition space. The number 1 actually got upset by the Navy Smash squad from Lake Nona. So they were able to take them down, and that was the only team that beat Super Spartan Smash. So maybe they've done the work for Super Spartan, and this is all of a triviality. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, a lot of players from the Smash community specifically that I've been able to talk to, Hail Monkey Man, have said a lot about how a lot of it comes down to you're basically playing the character across the way versus anything else, versus like the player at hands. Yeah, sure, you have a little bit of personality and style that goes into play, and that's what we love seeing and talking about here as casters. But sometimes when you have a character that you play really well and have a lot of success with, and you are going up against another character, an opponent who plays a character that you can counter pretty easily. If you both have a high level of talent to this degree where you can make the finals or the semifinals in that case specifically, it can cause all sorts of chaos in the Smash scene. And you're here for it, right? It means that legitimately every time that 2 teams match up, especially when you have the 3-on-3 player situation that we'll see here in this finals and as we've seen throughout the playoffs, it just means that it's a big question mark and we just get to live it and see it live. And that's what's awesome about this.
I love that you put 3 and 3.
Just so visual, yeah.
So
visual
everyone
out there. You know what I'm saying?
Put the versus logo like right in the middle. Just imagine it's the hand, and which I mean that's also they have the master hands that it comes from the game in the first place. So
that's great. Yeah.
You're honestly just living on brand for this entire thing. But okay, so it boils down to if you were a little confused on format, well, let us just make it so easy. We're going to be seeing, at minimum, 3, possibly 5 matches. They all are best ofs, and that's best of 3. And each of them is a 3-stock battle. No items, and of course, only final destination. No, we're going to be going through some map bans. So, depends on where you want to go. I've talked to some people from previous competitions to now. Does it really matter what stage you get to? Some of them are weird, some of them are not. Some of them have extra platforms, and some of them are wide open spaces. And I think some of that intermingles with the idea of what character you're playing against. And some of them are very fast, very slow. And I think that, yeah, it just comes down to your ones. If anything that I've been able to witness or at least bear mind to some of the competition stats, especially with Lake Nona, this team plays deep into series. They don't often get out cleanly with just like a 3-0 or something. They've been having to play deep into at least 4 and sometimes even 5 game sets. So this could go the distance like we just got to see a moment ago with Rocket League, but over on Smashville or something.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. The Navy Smash squad specifically, and when we talk about this team, it's they're the player Shoma, who's part of this Lake Nona High School team, is also mains Steve has the highest percentage win rates on their team too. And so diving in deep, or like holding yourself deep, burying yourself deep, and then coming out for the victory seems to be their identity. Right now we'll see Koshi get the call here for Navy Smash Squad, as they will be on that Pyra Mithra here momentarily. As we head down, it'll be Pokemon Stadium that we kick off with. PS2 will be the site here between these two here to kick off this, again, first best of 3 set.
Okay. So when you're playing against this kind of combo, you have just that your mid-range kind of sword combo playing against Mithra, as well as then it gets very fast, berserky style, and when you switch between them. So a lot of that kind of fire magic. But otherwise, if you're playing into a Joker, it's very, very quick almost all the time. And I love a lot of that play to get back center stage. And then, because it looked like they were getting dominated for a second, but Yuki's really brought it back to the fold. And they're playing for separation. What a tag there.
Yeah, it was a good tactic. Keep them at bay, keep them at distance in this spike. In the perfect time. So the well executed, back and forth. That's what Joker can do when you have that lock loaded and off that stage presence too. And the Pyra Mithra combination, you know, you have to get out and be the aggressor. Otherwise, if you're behind with the Joker, it's difficult to dig out of.
Yeah, this is full avatar as well. They've been able to use that entire meter and get a ton of damage already, working into second stock at a triple digit, 108%, and pace still sitting at 93. But this is where much of the work has to be done by Yuki to catch up. They're working well off of some of these aerial positions, and that's just a great sword flip, trying to get that up smash, but no, and they've gone full meter again, and this is where much of the work can happen. They're still at full 3 stocks here, Bear, and now they force them down to 1.
Already off to a hot start. You need that answer. And right now you do get it instantly, and that's what the doctor ordered for sure, being able to finally break it out in the right moments. But been on this Pyra, or rather, for an extended period of time. Now you're getting even more damage caused here, and every little bit is going to take up that Joker bar. And then once you get to that level, it's so difficult to get against. You have to have perfect shield timing, otherwise that Joker's just going to send you off the edge.
They really have to beat them before they can get any of their avatar build up. So trying to get a sweep up underneath, playing from a safe distance before they can land any attacks. This is a great juggle combo. They're not been able to force the issue. Now they transform. Okay, so this is do or die time, and that's going to be a spike right over into the right side death frame. So, good find. It became a 2-1, and that's just dominant performance out of pace.
Quick moves to get that 2-stock lead early, and that was very important if you have that momentum to have the finisher too. A lot of that was just the timing on those frames, especially with the down smash there, to take the second stock and really get into your opponent's head there pretty quickly. Remember, the set isn't over. This will be best of 3s here between these two players, as Eric and Koshi will go back at it. Koshi from the Lake Nona High School, and Eric was on that Joker, the one with the bar as well. For those of you who are less familiar, I know parents are tuning in here to this stream as well, so just a little bit of that knowledge too. I think it was just a dominant performance from Eric all around here. The super Spartan Smash showing what they might be so super.
Yeah, honestly, just using the kit that Joker brings to full advantage, because as long as you can build up into that meter, then and then just never allow Mithra to kind of get one of those more powerful strikes. There's only a couple that really landed, and the one that really got the only stock was after so much had built up over a couple stocks anyways. So just great timing overall, and they will be, I would think that we're going to move probably over to one of the battlefields to kind of really disrupt some of that at least initial play. Also, one thing I'm trying to confirm, because it's both Shoma, Koshi is playing right now for the side of Navy, but Shoma, they might be related. I'm just playing that off of last names, which is kind of a cool either sibling or just at least family kind of thing to put on a single squad. We've seen that at the pro tier when it comes to Rocket League, twins being like-minded. Maybe you can keep the rivalry in the house and bring it to a championship.
Yeah, they are they're very similar in the way that they like to win games. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And they're solid play too, I suppose. The Pyra Mithra, a little bit more aggressive than typical. But, I mean, Shoma is known to pull out the Rob, too, so they have that similar mindset. Obviously, we won't get to see them on stage together because it's that one-on-one battle. But we'll see them back-to-back, perhaps, maybe in tandem. And maybe that's the strategy here that Coach Gabriel of Lake Nona and their Navy Smash squad will go for here. And, all right, so dominant performance from Joker and Eric of Monsignor. And you got to go back to the Pyra Mithra because that's all you played all season, right?
Right? Yeah, I'd say. I mean, you're fairly well practiced. We're just going to be going into, and I don't think that many play away from their mains. You kind of get your single one, and you say, all right, how are we scrapping? And it's all of a one single game. We're going to have a lot of separate fights that will be going through this as well. So I don't expect them to fade too much from it. Now, if you do take the one close, I think you still stick with it, especially because, I mean, if you weren't outright throttled, sure, I might actually want to go for something slightly faster, especially against Joker, simply by how they were building their meters so fast. But, push comes to shove, we still go into the next. We stay Mithra and Pyra, Joker. I mean, there's really nothing that they should run away from with Eric doing great work. We go to game 2.
With the Joker, when you're able to allow yourself to kind of tag team overall and just attack from different places and different styles, it's very difficult to read at the end of the day. And to, with Pyra and Mithra combination, obviously you have to connect in the right spot as a dynamic character. But you just see how quickly that this Joker can connect, and Eric continues to show that you're going to be a menace to be dealt with here, taking that early stop.
Simply not landing. Man, this is a very fast Joker. Finally getting at least a couple of just neutrals, and then they're just juggling them off the corner, looking for at least a grab. But no, immediately stealing stage presence and trying to drop them all the way down. The recovery misses, and Eric's only gotten up to 37%. This is 3-1 stock dip, and they haven't even built their meter. This could be 0 to death in almost an instant.
Yeah, very quickly. They've worked their way down already. This is when the Pyra Mithra really started coming back. This is when Koshi started connecting with a little bit. But at this point in time, when you're down 1-0 in the series, you have to be able to connect a little bit earlier. And getting 3 in a row in this Joker, I just don't see it happening. Again, Mar already ticking up to about halfway. That's going to be taken away right with that connection there with the Pyra Mithra. Again, a little bit late of a start here from Yoshi and Koshi, rather. And it might have been a little bit different if they got off to a little bit of a quicker start. But right now, just being dominated, being spaced well, being connected with the big side smashes that we've seen from Pace, aka Eric, on that Joker. It's been very difficult to handle, and you imagine it's just a matter of time before they get skyward.
So many short hop side grabs. Oh, and then just trying to immediately slap them from off the side. Great punishes overall. They're going all the way out into the death zone, and there's not going to be a way to recover. Koshi goes down with the ship with Eric, but Eric's the one that had a 2-stock diff. They can afford to do so. That's a 2-0 to start things off here, Bear, and that's a dominant first set.
It is, and with Lake Nona High, you can't be too nervous. Yes, that's not the start you wanted, perhaps, but you also threw out your third in the hole, right? You have 3 players that you can come out with, and it's not any knock on Koshi. This is just strategy as far as who you want to bring out there to give you the best chance to win every single set. And so they went with Koshi this time around, but they still have Shoma and Nico, who's had high respectable percentage wins that they can go up against Gabriel and Ricardo respectively for the Super Spartan Smash side. Say that one 12 times fast, I dare you. But they still have options is what I'm getting at here, and they have lots of ways to counter this, so I'm excited to see how they bounce back in the next one.
I mean, these Super Spartan Smashers are probably super smart Smashers as well. Look, there's a lot of sms and sps, but we're going to be going to our next set just in a moment. Also, I did confirm, thank you so much also to our wonderful Play Versus staffers that are able to help me with all of my random questions. Did confirm they are siblings, so that's pretty cool. You got both Shoma and Koshi, and so that actually gives you your teammate like full time. You get to go home and you can play with them, and then you can go into kind of your program area and play with them at the high school, and so that's actually really neat. But also could be very annoying. It's like, all right, I've gotten used to your play style so much. Like, play something else, please. Like get out of here.
Yeah, big thank you to the Play Versus side. They always bring the knowledge too, and also shout out to coach Gabriel Lopez for doing that. The wonderful Gabriel Lopez there coaching this Lake Nona High School, who will have their hands full though as we go into the second set. You're down 1. It didn't go the best. It was 0-2 against, but that's why we get fresh sets in, and we'll see who comes up next here momentarily. Should be announcing it as we speak. But you imagine if a Steve comes out so difficult to handle. We know that Shoma likes the Steve, has played it, and has found some success, the 88% win rate. And Steve has been known to have been banned in other places, in competitive environments, I shall say, for being so difficult to get around, right? With the mining and just being able to kind of cave yourself in, wait for the right moment to strike. So with the Steve here, that's gonna be difficult for Monsignor to keep that same pressure that we saw in the first time around.
Yeah, that's a tough character because they just reshaped the entire battlefield. You play with kind of especially if you play something like small battlefield, you play with the non-moving two platforms, and you can just wall up, you can mine, and you can get the best weapons possible. So that is exactly why it is banned. I go all the way back to some slightly younger, slightly older Smash, where I think it was Brawl, where you had Meta Knight, who had just non-stop kind of invincibility frames and has such high priority. This one is more of a creative mind to get things going. But if we end up seeing Steve, then I just hope we get to see two Steves and who can dig faster against one another. But but we will, in fact, we have guaranteed that we are going to be getting Gabriel versus Nico. So we're looking at Pit and Bayonetta. That's high combination style of characters. Pit just, I feel like that's going to be dealing with what the Bayonetta kind of kit to play against. And that's almost as tough as playing against that Joker.
It honestly is. It's very difficult to handle. Pit's very balanced too. To have somebody who's successful on an all-rounder is honestly pretty key, right? Especially in this 3-player environment, like should I get the threes again? Oh, you can't see me anymore. It's fine. But yeah, that's the combination that we're looking for, right? Can Pitt have that balance? And obviously, it's been successful for Gabriel here moving forward. Not to be confused with Mr. Lopez from the Lake Nona side. No, this is a different Gabriel for Monsignor High School here. Monsignor Edward Pace High School. I want to make sure I get it correct. And we'll see these two in battle here. Bayonetta, like you mentioned, excellent kit. But we see them already playing a little bit defensively, and that's to be expected.
To be known, one pretty much knows at this point, but since you have the previous win, if this ends up being a loss out of Curbstar, then you're going to end up seeing this going the wrong direction. And that would have to reverse sweep through the best of 5. But so far, the pressure has been on and, fairly balanced out of Pit, but he can also be a little bit slower, and that's exactly what is being exposed.
Yeah, it has been very much snuffed out and attacked in the right moments. I think it's even more important to say. And you see him try to strike back. Bayonetta's a little bit off the mark on that last little swing out, but they will get that down B to at least launch them up in the air. Tried for the combo, but it was not to be. And now that special sent up with the knockback, not enough to send them off the stage though. And so we hang here at the middle of this Pokemon Stadium 2 as well. Seems to be a popular choice to begin it, and you can see why these games have been excellent.
Gabriel is surrendering a lot of space. Doesn't want to get caught up in any of those summons. Oh, and what a swipe. Able to smash straight off of the stage. And they're actually taking a moment just to kind of think about it. Like, okay, I got caught. I feel like I was pressing the advantage the entire time, but they're going for some of these big smashes upwards as well. Off of the recovery, able to get that side B, and now just waiting to juggle if they can off of the time lock, and that's going to be punishing an only 9% difference. What a recovery into that second stun.
That was a great answer. When you see your opponents really coming out and making a statement early, you want to be able to answer them back. Still keeping them juggling as well as a Bayonetta. Kind of rare that you see the dominating characters be able to juggle to that degree. Obviously, they have the high power that you rely on. And right now, it's being shown. Look at the combos. Right, up, left, center. Doesn't matter. You're connecting.
How these high heels taste? Oh my goodness. Constantly just getting knocked in ye olden chin as they're trying to at least get a kind of a flutter on that short hop. I know, slide kick, going for the combo, smash to the old grill, and then waiting for them to fly back further. Bit of a corner. No. Oh, great guard. And they're actually looking to get more of that pressure right across the stage and up A. Now to just be able to smash him back, but now they're playing back for corner. Both these players trading blows.
Yeah, they've been really back and forth in combinations, and it's because they like to take risks. Both of them have been trying to get into the dirty areas, but Bayonetta, not only with those kicks, but also at the distance, you have to look out for the Regan as well. And on that side stage, trying to beat up Pit. Well, they have enough to get back to you. They do have that ability to fly with the up B and get back onto stage, but it was very close. The edge guarding has been excellent from Curbstar pretty frequently. Now we'll have to try to get back on themselves, but they're being guarded. These characters so similar, but not going to get it there.
just off distance, and now you just need one good grab, and you're gonna be able to throw him out to the death zone. Try and tie this one up, but for the most part, that's still a great recovery by Gabriel, and finally thrown away. 6% diff. At this point, it just comes down to 1 for this second game of our best of 5 set here for the championships for the FASA Play versus Fall Finals. Oh, great juggle again. Curbstar still putting the works to Gabriel. Gabriel has been able to kind of adapt to some of the speed, and they just disrupt it with the twin blades.
Yeah, that's spinning attack is so difficult to try to DI your way out of too, especially if you're in close, trying to get land a move of your own in. And they just keep on finding ways to get in. This pit has been really strong with the sword, finding that spacing necessary to get there. But you can't escape the Bayonetta combinations. The up, down, left, right, center, looking like the old Snake of old. And now being able to finish in addition to that and get that win. Great job there on the set. Bayonetta looking strong off the rip.
You know, the wise words of a championship boxer, everyone is prepared until they get hit in the mouth. And that fist went straight to the jawline of Gabriel's pit. My goodness, just sent them to the sky, not to return. And a great comeback, as they actually had lost the first 2 stocks ahead of Gabe, but a great push. I believe that one, yes, this was by Nico into this fight. So, wow. Okay. Much of the combination work that kept it so close, and Gabriel honestly was having to just kind of fight the better recoveries that pit can have, because they have such a defensive drop whenever they're bringing themselves back to stage, and then off of the flight from the up B, it's often very difficult just to get rid of a pit, but they racked and stacked the damage. They knew they can finish them off at the end.
They were confident in order to land those, and yeah, the Bayonetta, it's just goated. It's so goated because your defense is up. You can eat a punch or two, right, and get in deep. You can eat a slice of the sword to get in deep, and then when you land those combos, you're not even sweating when you're at 112%. Like, what are you supposed to do to get around this? It's so difficult to handle with, and all you have to do is, it's as simple as being able to find the right spacing, pick your time to attack, and Pick has that same exact output when it comes to combinations. You can absolutely get in there just the same, and a little bit more of that, and we're talking about a different story.
Yeah, that was an up kick fiesta, by the way. They were just constantly juggling from left to right, nonstop. Just pit. Like, I know you have wings, but would you like to fly with these feet? Cool, that's what's gonna happen. And so they just moved them from all over the stage. I mean, it still took a good smash to be able to get them. The first couple got that time slow just to throw hands. We're gonna be seeing it again. I do believe so. Yes. So Curbstar going back over to the Bayonetta, and it's gonna be Marsh, which is Eric Nortman, onto that pit. Slightly more spread out on this stage, but it's gonna, I think, be a similar event.
I imagine it'll be a very, very similar approach. And those high heels just continuously land in the face. And it's, Gabriel has been doing a great job too. At least eat those two. You can see the similar situation that we mentioned with Bayonetta, where you have a little bit of that health too. Pit's a little bit more squishy, but not enough to really affect much. That's good avoidance. I'm not sure how they avoided that, but the back B, or back air rather, Bear was able to land it. So now down B too. You can tell they're just waiting on this Bayonetta for a heel slide to try to knock them off skyward. To the side, again, combinations almost on the way.
Some crunchy timing on some of these shield guards as well, and you have some of the extra recovery just so it's, again, this is some of the separation that we've been expecting out of Curbstar, and that's when they really begin the up kick, just juggling. Oh, looking for the counter, not gonna happen. Getting off the grab, but again, it's already done and dusted as they're thrown away with only 46, and already that's a fantastic way to delay. You get the time slow, and then don't allow them to use any advantage from that invulnerability.
If you've ever watched, or if you've ever played baseball before, you know how your coach throws the ball up in the air to themselves and then hits it out of the park, or out to you. That's what it felt like there with the Bayonetta, where you just kind of toss Pit up in the air and then launch it up the bat. So that combination's deadly. We've seen the back and forth land too. It's a good touch there from Pit though, but you fell right into the trap. Bayonetta just kind of baited them in and was able to launch it from there. Not known for a lot of baiting, but if you have that speed that Bayonetta does, you can pull it off sometimes.
Not just about playing from a place of advantage. They're just kind of keeping away from them. in this upper section. Oh, taking advantage, though, of the big smash. They were expecting Ed to drop, or rather, Eric to drop, but instead they kind of stayed airborne, dodged out of it, and then took advantage of the slower mechanic, because this is much of what Bayonetta is built around. A very fast juggling kit, and then just hard swings right off, which you can say of a lot of Smash characters, but it's just a lot more glaring and apparent. Oh, off of some of the extra, this kind of area damage, and now their own juggle, it's going to be taken away. They're going to be able to nair down. So just looking to get back to the stage and surviving quite well with 102%. They have full stage presence.
Oh my, and a good head fake there in order to get back on stage to sideswipe as well. So yeah, the forward air is very interesting here. With Bayonetta, what you have is the ability to land these combinations and get a lot of power. But what you also have is the ability to kind of, you know, use a second attack, if you will, to go left-right and avoid the punch. A lot of other characters can get exposed in a way whenever you're trying to avoid them and you know, if you land in the wrong spot. But with Bayonetta, you can use your attack to escape, and that's super unique. And they've been showing a lot of that, especially with that last stock build.
It's been a little bit more telegraphed about them trying to use that big side A smash. Now, Kerbstar is getting much trickier, especially on corner play. They're going to be pushed off from one side of the stage to the other, just trying to navigate, especially when you're stock down. You have to take down Kerbstar here if you are Eric. Just be able to get yourself even Stevens and not deal with too much. You can be kind of a defensive character as well with how balanced they are. Going for some of this flutter. Now, okay, off on the neutral air. Now, on the recovery, trying to get themselves back on. And yes, you were just talking about that recovery on that attack is so good, but oh, they are thrown away.
Yeah, they were using that sword swipe, that one right there, the forward air, to really try to get Bayonetta to bite into it. And then at the time, you faked it once, Bayonetta bit, and then you just sent them skyward. So excellent use of the bait both ways. There's such similar styles that we're seeing. The Bayonetta has that little bit of advantage, but it's gone away as the percentage continues to tick up now. We're about even. In fact, we're dead even now in this last stock. Now is a great comeback effort here as Gabriel tries to stay alive in this best of 3 and give this Monsignor team a chance here. The Super Spartan Smash team really has an opportunity if Pitt's able to land this kill, and you're taking up 75%, a great opportunity now.
Constantly fighting back to the corner. Kerbstar in a rough position. They do fight through this kind of shielding and off of a quick 1-2 combo, and now they can move them from right to left. This is a very uncomfortable situation if you are Kerb, and they're able to find the smash. We are going into a tied position heading into game 3 of the second set.
Victory!
Yeah, and it was, you know, for Nico, I thought it was great that you were able to just avoid that first little bit on the edge as you try to go above Pitt, and it worked the first time, but Pitt was just ready to go and was able to bounce out of an attack to get right back into another one. And that kind of speed and that kind of quick decision making allows you the best opportunity, especially when you have to kind of counter off some of the frames that you're working with. And so Nico couldn't quite do enough, though. I mean, and Gabriel kept them alive, and now this battle is just as close as it can be, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of went to the first game, it was a great recovery by Nico, as you've been talking about similarities because you have such the hyper juggling mechanics out of Bayonetta. It felt like, okay, we were living on the top of the screen, maybe even off to the right just for the longest time. We kept so much of game 2, that second piece, just stuck to right corner. We did not leave it, and that was because of the even tone and pacing that Eric was bringing to that pit. They did not let this get very, oh, I must chase you, you must just be able to kind of throw your haymakers, because we had some big smashes that just got dodged, and every time they did so, they were forcing Nico to basically live with their fingertips on some bricks. So a great job to even it up, and it has to be known, if Nico were to fall in this next game, that would actually put this on championship point for Edward Pace High School.
That would be, yeah, that'd be huge if they were able to launch back and get this comeback. And what they need to do is play a little bit less predictable. I saw a lot of spamming of that side B, that forward air. And so you need to create and mix up a little bit. I know Bayonetta is a lot about just smash, outpower your opponent. But you have to throw a little bit of difference. Throw some shields up to throw up Pitt. Pitt's doing a good job to lure in Bayonetta. Bayonetta is all about getting in your face, with that heel and shoving it right into your face and really keeping you at a distance. And I thought they did a good job in that game one. They'll need to get back to it here.
My goodness. This is actually going to be a very advantageous stage, I think, at least for anti-shield guard for Curbstar, because you have the thinner platform. So they're going to be able to cause a lot of damage and kind of get back to it a little bit faster as well. So we're here and oh man, already landing a buried smash, and they've been able to rack up the damage against them, just controlling aerial space. That's where some of this kind of triple platform comes to, and they've just been juggling them around. They find that stock early.
Yeah, you have two options. You can DI your way down to the platform level, or down to the platform level, or you can go all the way back down to the stage level. And either way, you kind of pick your poison at that point, because Bayonetta can go very strongly in any direction. So you're basically kind of just choosing where it is that Curbstar's going to go next, and they've chosen right just about every time.
Shield dodge around that side B, but very, I mean, Curbstar understands where they've given up way too much. And they've been able to just kind of telegraph, all right, I'm going for these wide swinging throws after some of these bigger juggles, and then you're just going to be able to get away from it. Oh my goodness, all the way up to the sky and up to 118%, and now down to nothing. Curbstar, 29% with 3 stock. They are sending Eric through their paces, and Pit doesn't have an answer here out in deep space.
Yeah, that Bayonetta can just chill up on the platforms in that forward air. When you talk about the flutter from this pit, you can't land it as often. It does land there though. Now they have him at a distance. That's where these arrows come in handy. Try to keep them off the stage and add just a little bit more percentage, so that way when you get into the thick of things here with Bayonetta, you can have a little bit more of an advantageous place. That was a good guard and shield there, by the way, because Bayonetta might have been able to launch them off and give them a run for their money here to maybe just restock them.
Oh, the miss on the grab. Could have been a finisher. Rather, no, that would have been a finisher. That could have made you move the other way, as Eric is trying to take advantage again off of this timing. Using that up B, and really kind of finding themselves constantly using that corner. They want to bait Eric in if they can, but Curbstar is now just getting juggled nearly. They're having to dodge that up A, and now finding that floor spacing underneath. They're going to go for the quick combo off of the juggle, and that's finally going to be 1 stock off. So Eric is at 70%, playing for survival. They at least get 1.
Yeah, and a taste of their own medicine for Nico, who's been doing such a good job of really just forcing the Gabriel into their hands and where they want Gabriel to go. But now at this point in time, it was a good big outs. And when you saw Bayonetta challenging in, you knew it was going to be a forward air towards you, and just perfect timing on that sword originally. And now we'll try to get back to it too, but so much damage being accrued, 120%, and Pit's not known to. We can handle a little bit of damage, but not this much. And boom, there you go. And now Lake Nona High School will even grounds here in the best of 5 of sets, and we're even at 1 here.
Show me how those pistol-shaped shoes taste, because they took one to the back of the old noggin, and that's going to be a big win by Nico, evening up this series. That's honestly like huge for Lake Nona, because this high school in particular, the squad won't have to fight from a 2-0 deficit. That'd be very difficult. Having it, actually, I guess 2-0, 4-0, whatever amount that you're looking at, and it's actually I think what 3-2 2-3 in terms of games won. So not winning that, but tied in series, and that was just balanced effort out of Nico. They knew the tendency of the switch and bait out of Eric from that pit as they were getting taken advantage of in terms of engagement, and then they just kind of threw them away. Didn't let them say, all right, you're going to play defensive. No, that's not happening on my stage.
Yeah, you take full stage control, and with a powerhouse like that and your ability to switch up too, I mean, Bayonetta has that ability as a powerhouse to switch up, and when you have that, it's just like, it seems so difficult to handle. It really does. And it's hard to keep you off stage, and when you're on stage, it's hard to deal with in your face. So that's probably why they had that 75% success rate throughout the season on that Bayonetta, and we'll up that number here with that 2-1 victory in that best of 3 scenario. So now even at grounds, we have our last 2 competitors that we already know have to go in this round, but it also opens the discussion on who we might see for the 4th round. Remember, both of these teams will get to choose another player to come in, and you got to imagine whoever wins this next one will probably roll with the same player to keep that momentum alive. It's a very strong possibility. But let's talk about the last 2 remaining. Shoma, related to Koshi, like we mentioned beforehand, with the Steve typically. So we're looking at a Steve potentially, 88% win rate there against Ricardo, who's unknown actually. So who counters a Steve? Not a whole lot. Not a
Uh,
whole lot.
I mean, distance punching. I think that. Oh my goodness, I actually forget their names, but that you actually have much of that wall break that happens. So if you can be able to get some of that length, actually, you can almost play a Sephiroth into this as well. It just depends on how you want to pressure, because much of what Steve does well is, like you're talking about, build a wall, reconstruct the stage, and be able to mine it quicker to really power yourself up. If you can get in their face to deny that early, then you're going to be able to at least keep them from being comfortable enough to do that. So some really kind of chase down characters can work out. And you were talking a moment ago about people that we might see again. I would love to see Gabriel, because honestly, that Joker was so good. I would love to see some more of that execution, because at minimum we're guaranteed to go for at least 4 games of this set.
Yeah, that would be the right move into my eyes. I could see that totally happening. Yeah, okay. I do agree with that. I think you can bring in, thinking from a distance here, the Sephiroth does make sense a whole bunch. I'm also thinking, man, from personal experience, a Sora sometimes works too to kind of
Okay.
break through and break, and either one that can really break into the zone, but it's just difficult when you turtle like that. But and especially with the 88% rate, if you play Steve, first of all, you already have an advantage. To play Steve well is just like too tough to handle. I see like Nona High School. That's my prediction, that Shoma comes out here and takes the bell here. But I mean, there's only one way to find out, right?
Yeah, I have no idea what may end up happening, and I think that this particular character could work out, because Ricardo is going to be coming in on Inkling.
Ooh, I see that.
So Inkling is all about just setting up the stage, because you're going to get a lot of the ink out on and be able to really speed yourself up to many of these attacks. So you're going to be dealing with that recharge rate, as well as finding I guess where Shoma won't be able to defend with that Steve, which has been confirmed, by the way. So I think this is actually a very helpful character into this kind of matchup, and I'm sure they've had to play against a bunch of Steves online or otherwise. So I don't know. What do you think about for an Inkling into this? Do they have enough pressure to be able to keep up?
It's I don't know if it's enough to keep up here. I might have to keep my prediction here just based on it. I do see where you're coming from. I do see areas of attack, but you have to get in their face consistently. Maybe if you just like spray some spray paint into their eyes, perhaps maybe then Steve can't really build well, and then maybe that's one advantage that I could see. Joking, of course.
And I mean, maybe. Oh, see, and the biggest thing that Steve also does is that if they can't build initially, they're also going for just pressure, because they're going to try and get at least like what, 50 to 70% damage. They're going to throw, and then they're going to just start building. So it's about where they want to set up in the first place. A lot of these grenades will break these early walls, but as soon as they upgrade from dirt maybe to wood and then over to iron, then you start making it a lot more difficult to get to them. So bringing out the cart, trying to sprint it down, and so far so good for Shoma.
Yeah, Shoma's been holding off, doing a good job of controlling. And it's to be expected. Again, that's something we mentioned pre-game too. And the Inkling is just, you have that power, you can break through. And when Steve is exposed like here, you can get the juggles too. That's what we're seeing a lot of here early. And good job of avoiding all the mine carts that you see coming their way too. You know, the last thing you want to do is take a ride early and fall off the map before you need to. But here it is. So I spoke it into existence.
Ticket to ride straight from 0 to stock death. And this is also the difficult play that you have to deal with is, all right, you have the telegraph paint grenade that's going to come through. That can break through those bricks, but then you can also stagger when you want to use your more valuable ones. So that becomes very kind of meticulous about how you have to play if you are Ricardo. But so far, it's actually been able to force Shoma to have to answer very meticulously in kind as they're playing from a distance to get the recharge. And now it's free mining from off of the corner. They can put those platforms just off of the corner as well, and that is a difficult effort to get around. Now they're in stuck space, and they can swing with that diamond sword through. That's the difficulty of Steve.
So many difficult things to fight through. But again, doing a great job to at least keep it relatively even. But it's knocked down regardless. So Ricardo with that they can. The Inkling's proven to be, well, maybe not quite enough yet. And as you build here with Steve, it'll be even more typical, and especially when you're able to juggle yourself here with the axe just over and over again.
Non-stop wood axe to the old face, trying to drop an anvil on him. Oh, and they thought maybe they'd swing around behind him off of that shield dodge, but no, just quickly getting him with the mechanism. And now this corner is just impassable. Oh, 2 stocks remaining. A very measured approach by Shoma. They built a house around him, and that's the last place that Ricardo was gonna live. That Steve is something else.
It really is. And Shoma's going to live with a lead as well. And Ricardo will have to live with trying to make the comeback here at this point in time. As, you know, you'll have to paint something new for sure. Splatoon being another game that Play Versus offers as well. I will take this moment between games as well. We want to let you know that the spring registration is open and Play Versus is now free to compete. Play Versus really does believe in the level playing ground of all players that are involved, and that's why they've gone free to play this semester. So go ahead and get signed up and enroll at playversus.com. That's play V as in Victor, S as in Sam.com, right there on your screen, playversus.com. If you haven't already registered, there's never been a better time than now. Don't just watch, play here at Play Versus. And showing up to play, Shoma, for sure. Leg Nona, doing a great job to fight back from that first best-of-3 loss. And now they have all the pieces in place to march them right up to match point.
Yeah, this it'll still be match points. So there is no championship point just right now. And also, shout out to Play Versus for that cute little fire emoji mascot. That's so cool, so cute.
Right? And they have all the emotes for it too. It's awesome.
Okay, and so if I'm looking at this matchup, I don't count Inkling as a big loss, but I also don't think, because so much of their stuff is telegraphed having to fight into some of the Steve kit, that you stay on this character. I don't know if that, because you were talking about kind of the unknown that is Ricardo. I would expect them actually to just kind of go all in on, all right, let's trade out. Let's find a different just character entirely to have to just swing for the fences on this, because early game, Steve is the weakest. And we got to see much of that found from some of those ink grenades that worked really, really well. Other than that, it was just not able to really kind of land contact as much as they want to. And I mean, if we had a Bayonetta into this guy, maybe he'd just be gone immediately. I don't know. That could be kind of a matchup you may be looking for in the future.
It is, honestly, because then you can just get out before anything develops, and that makes so much sense. But we do go back. It's Alex, a.k.a. Steve. Same character, different skin. And back at it again. And, I expect nothing different here. That Steve did bring all the pressure in the world early and continue to actually work the axe. Not usually the thing that lands this frequently, but when you're able to get in the first time, you have to eventually DI out of it. And when you get on the left side, when the stage is on the right side, where the edge is on the right side, it's so difficult to try to DI your way anywhere, but except for the edge.
Shortening space of the stage is such a key quality of good Steve. And then you feel like you're trapped in a coffin. You weren't prepared to die, but they're showcasing to you that you might. That's going to be a lot of pressure looking for the grab, as they thought they may actually shield dodge into them. The big roller going to be taken out as they're going to build the pillar, and now the magma brick if they want to land on top of them. But this is a lot of great pressure being evolved by Ricardo. We're not making this easy for Shoma.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. That's what you have to do. You have to get in that cave that they like to build, and you have to eventually beat that. But you see that this Alex, if you will, the Steve, if you will, continuously just building up and getting even more. But painted at just the right moment. And there's a couple times where that roller was stopped because of the walls that they were able to create. So if you don't allow them to create those walls, that's when you can get in with a quick answer. 0-0s
after massive anvil drops. A lot of those were dodged in the previous game, so finally landing this one as we're building up now into a bit of iron. And that will be shielded back at them as they have the Inkling grenade. Trying to do it again. This is honestly got to be something that's just kind of get spammed. I would be hated in this community again, because I love to be able to just kind of put out that spam, but it's something to be able to take them off their feet as much as the carts have done. But even in this neutral stock, we actually have a very even affair as they've been able to put this Alex, the Steve, into a weird space, and Shoma hasn't found a comfortable corner to go mining into.
It's been, constant pressure too. And by the time they're able to throw out the counter, which would be the minecart to try to send it off, Lucas Ricardo just knows. It can almost, it's like a sixth sense as when that card's going to come out and be able to jump over it. So whether it's good reads or just predictability, either way, I mean, I've yet to see a minecart land, and that in itself is pretty impressive to me.
It's been very fluid because a lot of Steve players, they'll build up their pillar, and then once you have the double break and you see someone trying to break it, you're going to play for when it's just about to break and when they're sticking a bit too far nearby, and then they're playing for that neutral direction. And again, like you're talking about, it's getting faster the direction that Ricardo's able to make these reads against the cart, doing some quick slides across mid-deck, and now they don't even build onto that wall, and that's going to expose them a lot more. They don't have the patience to do so, and as they're at higher damage, oh, great grab. They're going to be thrown from behind. They're actually going to be able to at least get one, and that's a huge knock. They're still not into the death zone, but now they have to work through 2 layers. Oh, a great idea. They had to just stay an inch away from that diamond sword.
Yeah, that bear was able to send it off the edge, but the knockback wasn't quite there. So you keep yourself alive here. It's been much more even. You've been playing this super well. And now's no time to switch up anything, right? You want to continuously play the way that you have been. And that's by getting in with Steve. But right now, you see the blocks getting stronger and stronger, having to find a way around it. The stone, so difficult to break. And playing patiently instead. Both of these players, or both of these characters rather, are defensive-minded. And even though you take the ride, you get back on, and they will take that trade-off. That was a trade-off on damage just to try to get out of where they could have been trapped.
Yeah, very risky, and they have to do that regardless. And now you have a very thick wall between you and extra damage to be done. Quick build. They continue to just dig up anything they want. They got an extra diamond, and they get thrown to the garden. Now they're looking to just trap them on the other side. There's a lot of magma. They get a huge smash, and that's going to separate them. Now trying to cross over the stage, dodging the cart one more time. Just back and forth, baiting in, waiting on them to bring it. Oh, get them out of there. 132% surviving for as long as they could. Now they got the stock advantage, but just barely.
Ricardo proving that this Inkling, when you hit the right spots, that dynamic nature, the pain that you can bring from it is immense. And, you know, right now, Steve play, right now, they're building the walls, and Ricardo's painting them, but will be painted themselves and is sit off the edge now. And look at his comeback. No, the juggle that Steve able to put up 67% before you even blink.
Other side, get another grenade, just at least put some extra damage down. Quick build, throw away. Broken pickaxe, you're gonna have to build another one, but that's actually gonna put them into kind of a negative space. They're taking their own ride, going for a swift dive. 2 minutes to go. This one has the potential to actually go the distance into sudden death if they want to, and that could be where we end up. Trying to go for the big grab. That one actually gets them in a bad situation. They miss 2 grabs, and then from behind, nice shield dodge. Oh, but the anvil's gonna bring them to the blacksmith and put them back to work. Oh, man. Ricardo, it was a good try, but Shoma coming out the better puts Lake Nona High School on match point.
Lake Nona looking sharp. Match point they'll go. That Steve was so immense because Ricardo is absolutely dynamic on Inkling. I think they played very well, as strong as they could. But that goes back into the matchup that we talked pre-hand. It's so difficult to deal with. I know you can get a lot of pain with it, but Ricardo's too good of an Inkling player not to take that into the finals, so I totally get it. Like, you can harp on it all day long. I thought it was a good choice anyways to try and counter it that way. That's, again, good coaching, in my opinion, from the heads of Monsignor. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and you were able to answer the first time around. Perhaps you can do it again. Who do you bring back in for Monsignor here? Because you get to choose now. You have that Joker. That worked out really well. I liked, actually, all 3 of these players, even though you're down by 2 right now. Or down by 1, rather.
I mean, if I just went with a more dominant set, I would definitely bring in Gabriel. I think that really kind of is the calling. But, I mean, it depends on how the counter then happens going into it. Because, remind me, so they get to you get to choose who you get to play next? Or are you just choosing out who you play into it? How does that work?
You choose who you're playing into it. So you can choose who from your teams coming in, yes.
Oh, then Gabriel picks Koshi immediately. They dominated that Mithra Pyra. There is no way. Get the free W. That one was an absolute blast for Joker, dominating a feature. I think that is definitely the pick.
All right, cool. I
I'm
agree.
just saying.
You gotta go with somebody who's, who had the hot hand to begin and kick things off. Yeah, I agree. Go back to it. Lake Nona, one step away. They've been playing great this whole time. They got their support unit in chat as well. We appreciate you being here. And another big thank you goes out to Play Versus and everybody behind the scenes, everybody in this great association as well, the FASA. Big shout out to y'all for organizing and making all these special moments happen. We've got to witness a little bit of Rocket League earlier. Now we get to witness a great Smash matchup. This organization is pretty amazing, and we're very thankful to have the opportunity to be able to cast these games. Let's get into it now. This is going to be the fourth set.
Ooh.
Like we mentioned, opportunity for Lake Nona to close out here. You got to win with the Pyramithra and with the Steve. But look as we bring back the Inklings. So Ricardo of Monsignor, Edward Pace coming back into play, and they're up against the Bayonetta of Nico.
Okay, all right. I like this. I'm going to be able to win it out. They think that this one is a much more favorable matchup, but this is actually going to be kind of tough, at least in my eyes. But trying to just deny some of that space, and a great grab as they're going for a soft juggle, but they're going to be able to teleport away back down the stage. And this is something that has to be feared because Curbstar is so strong. Let's see where they're going to go.
Those little side hits from Pace had been effective. Right now, it's not working against Bayonetta, who is quick. It's a lot smaller of a hurt box as well that you're up against for Nico on Bayonetta. So it'll be a little bit more difficult to land those combinations that we saw were so effective. Even though it didn't ultimately land in a win for Lake Nona, is a very, very strong effort for Bayonetta, and it'll be a little bit more difficult to handle than last time. We'll see how they play it.
Kind of surprised we get this position. But 114%. Remember, it's all into match point. Huge juggle. Whoa! Just threw him to the sky, turned him into a constellation because they are nothing but a twinkling star. Curbstar just let them ride the elevator all the way to their stock.
An Inkling star, would you say?
Twinkling.
Not a curb star. Kick that joke to the curb. And Bayonetta almost kicked Inkling to the curb again. So much damage accrued here. And even when you're trying to get back on stage, you're not safe. Inkling right in your face, though, when you try to return. Look at all the paint gathered all over Bayonetta. It's turned into like a Smurf at this point.
Waiting on them. Been able to kind of just center stage themselves, but otherwise Curbstar very strong. Again, like Nona on this series point, on this championship point. Oh, baiting them in. Forcing them to be off on that corner. And that's a very comfortable position, honestly, for Curbstar. Off the big swing and off of the paint roller trap. That has worked so many good times to at least even up some of these games.
And you have to use it in the right moment. It takes a little bit of time for it to get out. But then, like, if you catch Bayonetta with a couple of dashes just like there, but you have to be on the ground in order to initiate. So it all takes timing and effort and knowing exactly when's the right time. But if you get them caught in there, like, it's over with. You can cause so much damage with this Inkling. You see Bayonetta trying to chase them down too, and it's been a difficult ride, but not anymore. You got the juggles, 1, 2, 3 punch, up, diagonal, left, and then you just carry them to the clouds.
Pretty sure they have their airline license. They've just been taking this Inkling on flights everywhere. Up to the sky again. Oh my goodness. Non-stop juggling.
It is, and it makes me wonder, have I been sleeping on Bayonetta? Because, like, that airspeed is ridiculous. The amount of power you can get in these are incredible, too. And it doesn't seem like you're that exposed. And you don't have that load of health to begin with, or, like, low defense, rather. So, like, there's so much to Bayonetta that you have to love.
Have you played the original Bayonettas?
Not a whole lot of it. I haven't gotten the chance to play a ton of it.
Oh, then you are absolutely sleeping on Bayonetta. Come on. You gotta get into that. As a nice Inkling grenade, able to at least put some splash damage out, but you know, as for all that extra effort, they're going to look for a guard here from the corner, trying to be able to slap them down. They're going to actually pop upwards in this quick combo. You don't need to juggle like this all the way to the corner. They're going to have the time stop and just look for the quick escape. But this is where you pressure on. You get the job done. If you're Nico, looking for the leg drop as well. And they're trying to get this first game out of the way.
And Ricardo doesn't want to see themselves fall. They're so strong. And they've been doing the right things to the fact where if you drop this one, well then that's gonna be 3 in a row of these 3-stock battles that you lose, and sure enough, no, the knockback somehow kept themselves alive, and that takes a strong Inkling to be able to keep yourself here, but I think it's only temporary here. The Bayonetta is just too strong.
We had an inclination that they may have lost this game, but even at 160%, still able to float just long enough. Great grab. And now they're going to use that grenade to at least inflict extra damage. They're trying to plant them down, missing the roller, and that's going to take them down to very low on their ink stock and trying to get them with at least a distance shot. No. Good recovery. Looking for spacing. 99%, that's very winnable right now. It's just about who gets his final grab. Baiting them through. No, off of this juggle, not to connect. A nice sweep here, Bear.
Oh my goodness. Ricardo has been doing an excellent job. The side swipe! The comeback still not off though. Bayonetta not able to get to the edge. They did just enough. Ricardo with a big comeback effort there at the tail ends and showing us how Inkling is played.
Ain't no way. I didn't know that that could go that far. Okay, all right. Look. There was at least one smash in there that should have been done, but 160% apparently not winnable. But that's very winnable if you're Ricardo. Great job. Honestly, keeping their nerve regardless of execution to be able to just not dive too hard into much of the quick side-to-side battle that Nico was bringing to the stage. So, look, proving me wrong. I thought, consistently we saw them juggle to death. I thought that would at least be how this would end, but no, proving me completely wrong.
We were talking about how strong Bayonetta is and quick in the air and how much power you can get. And yeah, I know Bayonetta's got the down smash, which can launch Inkling up into the air and then get that juggle. But that's going to require you to catch Ricardo first. They got a little bit of happy feet there. Ricardo was so quick on the grounds. And with Inkling, you're able to, you have the rollers, right? You have the dash attack, which is super quick. It's so tough to try to keep up with an Inkling, especially one that plays it super well. At the very end, they were able to get them to a place where they had to DI to the platforms. So whenever Inkling's just sitting there on the ground, back and forth, just painting the ground, just having a good time and painting the floors, that's where they're the most effective. And that's where Ricardo was able to launch that comeback from.
I wonder if they're painting a picture, because it could be a picture of victory, the one that we haven't seen just yet.
Yes.
It's its own little map, and it just has all the way to an X, and that X turns into a dub. It's an entire evolving national treasure kind of mystery. But either way, we do go to our second game. And Nico wants to be able to bounce back if they can, because if Gabriel were to take this on Inkling, then we will go over to championship point available for both sides. And then I start to wonder, okay, I didn't think that Gabriel will be the next one coming out. I thought maybe that Ricardo, or rather Ricardo would be, Ricardo's out right now, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Okay, so I thought Gabriel would be coming out, but maybe they're saving them as a possible anchor.
That's true. Very true. And you have that luxury whenever you did get the advantage to go up to one. So you play like your best bet against what you think is coming out. And when you do that, you get this good matchup. And that's why Ricardo's finding a little bit of success. An opportunity to do well, to gain and gather into the next round. But yeah, perhaps you want to just play into that. And, what do you have to lose? At this point in time, you need a couple in a row as far as his best of 3 wins go. So you keep on with Ricardo, who did a decent enough job and proved to you that they can get the job done, at least to a certain degree against a lot of players. And Ricardo shows you with the comeback effort pretty early and with a lot of damage early here too.
Ricardo has done such good work on center stage spacing, just racking up damage. You would think, you would not think that this was basically a circus with the way the juggling was happening before, but especially considering that the 114% very, very early Curbstar is already on the ropes here in Stock 1, and they've done fantastic to bait them in. Another quick smash. Wow, so fast.
Again, Inkling on the ground, get the rollers, and if you're able to trap Bayonetta, you get anybody in that situation. Obviously, they're vulnerable, but even with Bayonetta, that's even worse because you have nowhere to go. And Inkling's been doing a great job of it. Now challenging on the platform, it's not something we've seen very often. And that's what happens. You're going to get punished for it for sure. Bayonetta able to land a couple of combos there, and up and a side before finally getting back down with the damage being up to 64%.
Grenade memes. that spam I was talking about. It's not quite spam. It's just kind of tactical, forcing them to not be comfortable on the ground. They can't have any stage presence as they're always fighting from above to so below. Great dodge. Oh, force them off of the corner. Now you have a dominant position as they actually use that as a neutral grenade to just force them to come to you. Can't quite get them as they do. Go for another, not connecting. Great escape by Curbstar. That could have been another big smash.
It was that close to it too. And that's what both of these characters have. They pack a punch, and if you find the right moment to strike, then you get it. And that's why they play a little bit more patiently here too. A lot of spacing given. Just working the back and forth. Ricardo is just looking like a roly-poly out here. Just the way they were able to roll the stage. And FPS2, you're able to take stage control by doing it.
Almost sad we don't get the stage evolution. I love seeing how it kind of changes up, but I understand it's a non-competitive environment to do that. Great grab, trying to get that final punish. Not going to happen as they're actually going to recover all the way up and around. That one was a weird timing because both sides paused. Not quite sure where the other one would go. Just juggling from right to left, and now as they just drag across the entire map. Oh man, turn into a baseball and it's home run swinging for Curbstar.
Yeah, you get into the sweet spot and forget about it. It's so tough. Now a quick answer would be in order. See them gearing up, launching up the Bayonetta. Maybe they get the heels in the air. That's just a sign of a bad time. If you fall into the wrong spot, but you're trapped. Got out of it in time, though. For once, Ricardo took a little bit too long to get back to that smash.
Baiting them up. A little bit of a back. Just to back up and get that quick A. Now, stealing the floor from him. Curbstar looking for the final punish out. Now they force out to corner, going to restock up, and it's been a telegraph bait for some of these rollers. Waiting them out, and they're going to use that grenade. It's 182%. Even a stock trade here won't really be a big deal because you should be able to find them on the other direction. Curbstar at 175%, 182 still for Ricardo. Looking for that grab. They're going to get grabbed themselves. It should be a guaranteed stock, and it will be. It took them all the way to 200.
Wow, and it should have been the other way around too. And, you know, it felt like a matter of time, but if you did drop that stock first, it would have felt a lot worse. I get it. It's returned immediately out, but yeah, you played so well, but with that Bayonetta, it was a very dangerous play too. To get that first stock out of the hands of Inkling was not something that I expected, especially in the position they put themselves in by using their forward air to get back on the stage and put them in a vulnerable spot. These grenades, by the way, by this Inkling have been landing pretty frequently. It's not been the rollers, it's been that that's given them success, but right now giving them the business is this Bayonetta with a lot of juggling.
That's something that we've not seen, at least since the previous game. Oh, waiting for the big uppercut. You just walked into a fist, baby. Now it becomes a 1-1. This becomes championship point if Curbstar can be able to put it away. Looking to get the same kind of combo, but Ricardo, as they're on the ropes, has proven they can bring it out, but they've not quite a one-trick pony, but they've got one special skill that's bringing them through, and that's definitely off of the roller. They need to make sure that they're prepped and ready to bring it out.
Yeah, the low hit there from Bayonetta. Tried the leg swipe, if you will, on the down B, but did not land, and that left them vulnerable here for this opportunity. A few different touches before, a few different hits rather, before they get out. And that grenade's just to put them up in the air, so that way when they fall back down, they're able to jump to them. I love using the grenade as both a damage maker and as that. See you later. All right, Inkling, a couple in a row. Ricardo able to get Monsignor back into this with a couple of clutch wins.
Wow. We're going the distance. Okay. Ricardo brings us there. I thought maybe, just maybe, this will be finished off by Nico. But here's the scoop. It's loser picks, right? I'm assuming that's how it goes.
We'd have to confirm that with the team.
Okay, because I mean,
we'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of this.
I think you anchor into Shoma, right? I think that's how it's got to be, because that Steve was so nasty. What Steve isn't nasty at this point? But great job by Ricardo. We forced game 5, regardless, set 5 of this entire SSBU fall final here for Play Versus. This is down to the wire, and I don't know who you pick up, because honestly, this just comes down to final execution.
It does. With the Joker, how are you going to get that bar up in time? The pit perhaps because you can always swipe and maybe get an early kill, get an early land there. Dude, it's tough. This is a tough road. It is, but you did what you needed to do in that fourth set, and that was win it. And Monsignor Edward Pace is in a position where, they're able to make this comeback. They've done it in games. We've seen it in best of threes. We've seen it within 3-stock battles, specifically, all the way down to the atom of what this competition is here for the finals. And we've been geared up for a great one, Hail Monkey Man, and it is delivered yet again. Let's go to the distance. Let's go to the fifth set now and see who we bring in. Our eyes are glued to chat here on the backside to see who they bring in for this next one.
I'm also glued to this chat. I'm loving what I'm seeing out there. A little bit of chippiness and the old fanship that goes out there. So you know what? I love seeing everyone come out for their programs, for their high schools. A little bit of love, not just for your fellow students, but also for your groups overall. So hey, you know what? Let it all out. Let's have some fun. We've got one best of 3 left in front of us, and I think we're getting the details right now. And at this point, it's gonna be yes. Oh, that's actually a slight change up. But we got Eric on Joker and Shoma.
Okay, yep.
Come on. Who's he on?
On Alex, not Steve.
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad.
It was the last time, but yes, same character. So yes, of course we see it again. Shoma's so strong on it. Why not go back to it? And like I mentioned, it's going to cause a little bit of problems for the Joker. But the Joker that Eric brought up last time, you just put your best player out there, in my opinion, at least. Not to knock the other characters here, not to knock Gabriel, but I mean, Eric was so strong in that first set.
Yeah, Eric was just, he's already able to build up his avatar meter and just able to just throw Mithra and Pyra and say, hey, you're 2 characters? No, you're none. You're over there. So Joker, I think, has the speed to be able to really neutralize the early game that is of Steve's, but that's going to have to be executed very well. The great news is that off of the combinations that we saw from Eric earlier, they have exactly in their toolkit and the way they play to do exactly that. Now, that can be punished if we get some of those cart timings, which is exactly what creates that separation. And some of that had to get read in the midst of the Ricardo earlier combo. So this will be a heck of a comeback by Super Spartan Smash if Edward Pace High School can do it. But Lake Nona, they've got their ringer. They got Shoma, maybe the best of the 2 siblings. I want to see how they bring it to this fight.
It's going to be a battle and maybe a slow developing one when we get towards the tail end of these 3-stock battles. But it's going to be a good one nonetheless. This is what it all came down to. And I thought this would have been one of the matchups we saw in the first set when we saw the Joker go up early. But again, now we find ourselves here. All roads lead to the best against the best here with Lake Nona High facing off with Monsignor Edward Pace coming up here momentarily. I don't know if you can do enough as a Joker. You have to be able to get damage early. You have to build a meter early. You have to be able to chase down Steve. And I know he's relatively vulnerable, but at the same time, so many have played victim to the axe juggling act that likes to happen from Shoma that I'm not exactly confident that it's going to be an easy go.
Up axe. Let me ask you a question.
Spam.
We've got one final set in front of us, a best of 3. Top of the end of all these sets. Can Joker find that speed? Can they steal the show? And can they get away from being asked all these questions?
Axe.
Axe.
Also got away from the minecart too. And Joker again trying to get in there early. Almost set up that combination as you saw from the down smash, trying to at least launch them up in the air where you can't build if you're in the air. So obviously that would be a strong play from this Joker who does dive past those wooden blocks, gravel blocks rather, not able to really accomplish much shielding here early as expected. Anvil and the TNT not in very great places there. Boil thrown to the center of stage, and that's an easy avoid and expose of Eric, who's been right up in his face.
This has been very smooth so far. I mean, mostly by both sides because I don't disappreciate the build in the middle of the stage because you're still forcing a lot of those extra jumps, and if they can be able to time it when they're landing, then you can get some of those big counters. But Shoma so far has not been able to build anything except a deficit as this point, as Eric has just taken away every brick that they laid down, and now they bring out the Avatar. So this is going to be a ton of damage. Big grab, throwing them up, and just waiting for the last swing. They receive that cart. Oh man, yeah, this is where you really find yourself in a huge advantage, and only 47 damage. And they take Shoma's first stock.
All right, Eric came out with a purpose. And yeah, once you saw that release, it's all about timing and making sure that Steve's turned the other way to try and mine first and then be able to land that laser. And that was perfectly placed, perfectly timed. All the damage counted up so quickly before any damage could be reciprocated. But you're taking a ride off the edge and down the spike. And wow, what a combination. Once you're in that minecart, there's nothing you can do. It's not like you can DI out of it.
Ding, ding comes the trolley, and you're just going to have to take a tour of the floor. So, good work and great recovery to even this one up. We're both at 30%. And now climbing, just getting pushed around brick by brick. They stick it to him, but Eric now pulls out the meter as they're just playing from opposite side of stage, trying to just peek at him from over the bricks. And as they bring out the cart, great disruption, not able to land more of those damaging blows, and 111%. Eric hasn't been able to catch pace with Shoma.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. You're just constantly being pestered. That's the speed of Joker coming into handy. And then the thing is, you have the speed, but also you want to land the big opportunities and the big landing swings that take a little bit more time to develop, and you've been landing them. That thing has been a big difference, and Shoma's had a difficult time trying to handle it. Good avoidance of the minecart, but once you avoid that, you're back down right on the anchor. It's been so even. Again, trading punches, haymaker for haymaker. The Joker just tries to keep the distance, just like we saw the first time around. We saw this Eric on Joker. The spacing is immaculate, but not enough to keep you away from that axe.
And this is exactly the kind of response you need immediately from stock losses. You're going to be down 2-1. You want to get this one chopped away as soon as possible. 135%, very winnable. They go neutral on some of those connections. Now using the fishing pole. Oh, and it was a great flutter kick, but only 6% gathered. This has been dead even, Bear.
It has been incredible, too. By the way, just found out from the chat, so that's 99% accurate. Shoma is a freshman and put out here in the biggest of situations. Talk about having skill for your school for multiple years on end and showing it off here and having the confidence to go to this freshman who's had a lot of success in the first time we saw them and is still doing a very solid job here in this one. Might be in trouble here in this first set, but they've been really showing out as freshmen.
You know, some of my best years were when I was like 13 into senior year. So I can identify with Shoma back in the day in 64. Shout out. Going full Avatar. This actually could be a final pick as you do have 92% on to Shoma. They're getting juggled up and they're getting juggled out. Swiftly taken care of in final stock time. Eric. Oh boy, that's exactly the kind of pressure they were able to keep up the entire game. They get Edward Pace High School on to championship point.
Eric said, I'll show my friend to the edge here. I'll show them the door. And out the door they went. Eric showing why that Joker was so effective. Spacing, spacing, spacing. Constantly just being able to get in when Steve is trying to mine to cause chaos there, but then being able to get out before the minecart can take you on a ride. It happened once, and then you saw it was a nasty game to try to get out of. Shoma's doing a great job to try and time that, but Joker's just the strength of Joker with Eric right now has been phenomenal.
Yeah, you got to see some of that slightly exposed when it came to Inkling a little bit before from Ricardo, but there was a reliance on, I guess, just on the grenade to be able to kind of clear that the building space, because so much of that is recreating the map. When it came down to getting away from Joker, you couldn't. Just always breathing down his neck, and that was what gave the advantage to Eric. And now over to Edward Pace as this super Spartan Smash squad. That's a lot of S's, but they are S tier right now for the entire state of Florida. I don't think that Shoma has to change up too much of his game, but he's going to have to be able to get the timing away from Eric, because he took him out in the best possible ways, but it was dead even till that last smash.
That's right. We only have Hail Monkey Man now potentially two, maybe even just one chance in opportunity, one 3-stock battle to decide it all. Could be two, again, but it's an opportunity for them to close out. And the way that Eric's been playing so far, I don't see them having any issue. Right now, Eric's been strong. That Joker's been undeniably good. And Shoma's got that opportunity. Like you mentioned, if there's a few things that they could clean up, but it's tough. That Steve is so difficult to deal with, but it seems like they had no problem doing it.
Yeah. No, this is gonna be a fun one. So I don't think Shoma fades away from Steve either. I think that they stick kind of into it because I mean this was all of one cart or one kind of avatar meter away from just being the difference. We go into championship point here for Edward Pace, and this is also where the coaches got to make sure that everyone stays even keel for both sides, be it that first loss, be it the first win, because championship win is for this fall semester for Play Versus is just 8 minutes away, maybe even less, that they can be able to 3-stock them out. I loved the cart ride for second stock, and I love the response that Eric just never seemed shaken or shattered from any of those positions. Always able to maneuver around the map a time or two, and I feel like this could be Shoma with the fight back, but I think that this actually just may be their time to shine and take this in a 2-0.
Yeah, I agree that potential is there. And especially in this matchup and the way what they've shown so far. But there's only one way to get down to it. And that's by going back to stage. Looking like we're going to the same characters, of course. But we go to the same stage. I imagine a PS2 might be coming. That's a very solid option. And Eric, of course, winning that first one will give the advantage there to Shoma to pick the next stage. Obviously, you'll get to strike one stage beforehand prior to. So they're going to go in, obviously, and try to switch things up to that degree. I thought, for me, that Steve, it doesn't matter. You can basically build wherever you want to. So, like, how much difference making can you do as a Steve? What kind of difference does it make platform-wise is something that we've yet to see.
Give me some 3-platform Battlefield. Give me that. Why not? Make it at least a little bit tough to traverse for both sides and just build your house in several different walls. Give us all the quadrilaterals that you're able to present and just make it difficult to maneuver. But I mean, off of Jokers, they can just quickly climb and they're a rogue of several different kinds. So it's tough to get around that in the first place. But you also just find yourself needing to be able to get some of those quicker counter plays. And when they actually brought the fight to them and didn't rely on building, that's when it really was shutdown style for Shoma. You saw them being able to juggle them up, take them down, and that rocked and rolled Eric a little bit more often. And maybe they take some of those skirmishes instead of having to rely on separating, because you're just literally not going to be able to. Shoma, because of this elongated break into this next, may change. They will not. No. Why change something that is destined to work? But Eric, much the same thing. They bring Joker to it. We go PS2. This could be the final one of the entire fall semester.
PS2 is what I figured. And PS2 is what we got. Monsignor Edward Pace going up against a freshman in Shoma of Lake Noda High, who needs to stay alive to keep the Navy Smash squad pumping. And available for what would be a final 3-stock battle to decide it all. And 75, Mega 93% already up there. As you see now, that bar all the way up, but losing it as you go, as you get more damage. But they were able to land one connection prior to this going away. This Steve still not able to do enough damage to get it to go away completely. It's still there with Joker, and you're just figuring it's got to come out at some point too. You want to make sure it's quick, and that quick attack will land on Steve once.
Oh my goodness. Even with all the extra damage done. Oh, bringing out the anvil! Dropping it straight on him as they use the grappling hook to recover to the corner and just playing for the counter. And that is the scrappiness that we needed out of Shoma. Great first stock find. Now, seeing that they can find some of that extra separation, going for a dig, now going for a throw as they fly back with 148%. They were hoping to be able to upstrike him for a couple of extra juggling attempts, but they used the cart defensively. Good find there, Bear.
It was. Otherwise, the Joker had free reign on this side, and you didn't have much to guard, but you still don't. Tries to throw the mine cart out. Maybe catch Joker sleeping, but Joker has not shown up to sleep. So they'll get that stock almost immediately back, and a great time to strike. They also have their character as well.
Opposite side, just stage presence. They did have to pop that early. To be going slower, and they popped that anvil straight back up. It looked almost like a bouncing Betty. Chased around, they can't really do any crafting at all, and all they do, they at least get juggled out. So now, great grab. That's going to send Eric into uncomfortable waters as a little bit of a magma dispersal. He's going for the corner, but now this one's a bit more balanced, 89 to 76%. Still, this has been a class act out of Eric.
Eric's been off the face, hasn't even needed to use the guns at all. Right? He got the grappling hook to work with too, but it's only landed a handful of times. Really, they want to get down and dirty, and they've been having to utilize Joker in different ways than typically you would against other characters. So to have different kind of playbooks in your mind has been effective. Well, you're still at that 107, so Shoma still hanging swing for swing here. That almost ended there, but the knockback not going to end them. It will there. Great fake and the perfect timing on the way out.
Love the down A to be able to get the separation. You go to the wall for defense if you are Shoma, and yet they just find that schism between. You go to the avatar position, and now you're racking up damage. This is for championship point. Shoma fighting from behind. They have to get a stock. They at least get one strike. It's 125%, tons of extra damage. Looking for the grab, trying to get him away. 80%, and now just a bit away from a final smash. It is do or die time, and they're just spamming them. Using the cart, they even stock.
That was perfectly timed. And now you got to consider here that Eric is just kind of holding off, waiting for the rebellion gauge, trying to increase that so they can get a big hit here. Yeah, just time, percentage ticking up. This might be the moment, just from a distance, able to pull it out. And you haven't been using that gun at all lately, and now you've been able to just accomplish hit after hit. Nowhere to go. Try to wall yourself in. It doesn't matter how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms your house has that you're creating, because your knockback is getting closer and closer to the championship.
Build a wall, it's a prison, and he's going to serve a life sentence there. 145%. Even the tiniest little grab will be a kill as they use the cart, separate some space. They're using the diamond pickaxe, get some extra damage, trying to play catch up, but now the gauge is full, and this could be the end for Shoma, the end for Lake Nona. Trying to catch up to him. They're going to be able to fly back to the corner, but there's no room to live. Edward Pace High School, they'll take this championship. Eric takes it in 2 in set 5.
All right, Monsignor Edward Pace, congratulations. Florida Association of School Administrators champions, presented by Play Versus. What a battle again. It went the distance. FASA never disappoints, Hell Monkey Man, and apparently neither does the Joker of Eric, who you go to for that game number 5, or set number 5, if you will, and be able to launch in and get the job done with the 2-0 nonetheless, making that Steve that Shoma's so effective on still look strong, but be able to expose it to the point where you can get that 2-0.
Wow. I mean, you know what? I've been looking for an answer to Steve through so many different characters, and I always knew it had to be a faster character that could really execute and get some big power. And Joker, I mean, just seems to be systematically able to work. But you were saying how it was creativity out of Eric that was able to provide that, using Joker in ways that are a little bit abnormal. And honestly, that's what you need. If you're going to adapt in a championship, that's exactly the time to do it. They take this final set, and Shoma, it was a great season. They had a high percentage win rate, and obviously was the big anchor for this squad. But that was a great series overall, and it's going to be an awesome one for the Super Spartan Smash Squad to take the dub on.
Well, yes, absolutely. We'd like to remind you one more time that if you'd like to get into the action, you 100% can here at Play Versus, as Play Versus believes in even grounds for all students. And now the spring semester enrollment, it's here for the 2024 season and open. So go ahead and get registered. It's free to compete, by the way. Discover the opportunities that Play Versus offers. Get all the details on this upcoming spring season at playversus.com. Again, playvs.com, as you see on your screen, next to the whistle-blowing, beautiful Play Versus emotes here as well. Don't just watch this cute emote blow the whistle. Come in and join us and play today. Hail Monkey Man, final thoughts.
It was a great couple of showcases. We got to see Rocket League, we got to see Super Smash Brothers, and both of them went the distance, getting our money's worth and this semester's worth of competition in both of these competitions. A great job over to Cape Coral as well as over to Edward Pace High Schools as they're able to take their own championships. I mean, fair. Great looks, lots of talent. I just can't wait to see what the next semester is going to hold for the state of Florida.
Always in for a treat, always in for a treasure, and we were very thankful for the many hands that go into this, including all the representatives from Play Versus, feeding us all this amazing information and organizing the tournaments as well, and in association with the Florida Association of School Administrators, appropriately enough. And a big thank you to all the students and teachers that make it possible as well within the organization to give us a show like we got to see here today. It was incredible, and for Stay Plugged In behind the scenes too for running the show as well. Thank you all for tuning in as well. For all of you watching and supporting your schools, you're doing it right, and you're doing an awesome job supporting your friends. And we will see you next time. Everybody, good night.